Hi everybody. Following the chapter 2 of Disney ILS Standard, here I am with another video, this Disney ILS Audit Standard chapter 1. As I already mentioned in the previous video, in this video we are going to discuss more in detail and some basic information regarding what is ILS Standard, why Disney requires this ILS Standard, and what is FARMA and what happens if the FARMA is revoked and this kind of informations. So I have split this video into two parts, that is part 1 and part 2, and in this session we are going to discuss only about part 1. So part 1 contains information like what is Disney code of conduct, what is MCS violation, Disney requirement, what is ILS audit, other audit programs, and the nominated third party, an obligation to meet MCS, facility declaration and authorization, no farmer required in cases where then farmer revocation and cessation and reinstatement. And the next video, that is chapter 1, part 2, we'll further discuss about the health and safety guidelines, that is MCS, serious, non-MCS violations, some highlights, and then illustrative examples. So let's begin this video. The following are the manufacturer code of conduct that the vendor as well as the facility where the Disney branded products are manufactured or traded should follow. The code of conduct are as follows: child labor, involuntary labor, coercion and harassment, non-discrimination, association, that is freedom of workers association, then workers' health and safety, workers' compensation, protection of the environment, other laws, subcontracting, monitoring and complaints, and publication. So these are the list of code of conduct published by Disney. So the factory or the vendor who is manufacturing or trading Disney branded products should comply with these requirements, and this will be monitored by Disney through Disney ILS programs or Disney ILS audits. And factory or the vendor which are not complying with this requirement will be losing their farmer. So now let's start with what this farmer is. Farmer application. FARMA stands for Facility and Merchandise Authorization. So this is a certificate issued by the Disney to the facility through the vendor to produce Disney branded products. So without FARMA, producing the Disney branded products is illegal. So how this FARMA is issued and how the FARMA is applied. Let's see this in detail. So here you can see three objects, that is the facility, vendor, and Disney. So Disney is the licensor. The vendor is through whom the pharma is issued to the facility. So first, this facility applies for the pharma to the vendor. The vendor, along with the audit report, applies pharma for the facility to Disney. So Disney review the audit report, and if the Disney is satisfied with the audit report and Disney is satisfied that there is no MCS violation and the facility is fit to produce the Disney branded product, then the Disney issues the pharma to the vendor. The pharma is then sent to the facility. Now the facility receives the pharma. So this is how a sample pharma looks like. So this pharma here, you can see the facility name, the facility address, and the pharma ID number, and along with the FAC number. So these are unique. This FAC number is a unique number issued to the facility. So this FAC number can be used only by that facility which owns that pharma. And on the right bottom, you can see an issuance date. So the issuance date here is like 9/6/2022. So this pharma is valid for 1 year from the date of issuance. So this would be clearly written in the terms and condition of the Disney pharma. So after 1 year, the pharma gets expired. So initially this was 3 years, and now after March was 2023, the standard of the pharma has been revised, and now the pharma is valid for 1 year from the date of issuance. So these are some of the pharma characters. In order to print or work with any of these characters like Marvel, Walt Disney, Lucasfilm, Warner Bros. Or Universal Pictures, in each category you have different number of characters. If a facility is if the facility just wishes to work with any of these characters, then the facility should attain a pharma. So only after attaining the pharma, the facility can work with this or uh, uh, just print these characters. ILS audit. So Disney determines and checks whether the facility who is intended to produce the Disney branded products is satisfying all the Disney code of conduct. This is done through this ILS audit. So ILS is International Labor Standard, which is defined by International Labor Organization, and by the end of June 2018, ILO had adopted 189 conventions and 205 recommendations, and based on these conventions and recommendations, ILS audit standards are framed. So this framed ILS audit have will cover all the worker related issues like workers compensation, workers welfare, migrant workers issues, social security, social benefit, and all those kind of things would be covered in this ILS audit. And this ILS audit would be conducted periodically by the Disney staff or by the third party designated by the Disney. So this audit will be conducted in all the units, that is, all the facilities where the Disney branded products are manufactured. And before an audit is conducted or commissioned by Disney, Disney may provide a code of conduct assessment notification, that is a COCON. That is nothing but a notification to the facility through the vendor indicating that this particular facility is chosen for the ILS audit, and the cocoon is sent to the facility through the vendor, and after that the auditor from the third party agency or from the Disney would contact the particular facility to confirm the contact information, that is to check whether the factory details provided by Disney is correct, like say for example the factory name, factory address, and other relevant information. The ILS audit conducted by approved firms and other qualified programs. So this would be conducted by an approved firms. The approved firms may vary from time to time. So as of 2023 April, so there are 5 approved firms, and these approved agencies can be seen in the official Walt Disney website. And also, apart from this ILS audit conducted, there are another few more qualified programs that is accepted by Disney that we will discuss in the further slides. The ILS audit must have been conducted no more than 6 months prior to the date of the submission of the report to Disney. So once the vendor is submitting a facilities audit report to Disney, the audit report should not be more than 6 months older. So the validity should not be more than 6 months. The Disney International Standards Program, that is the ILS program, requires licensees and vendors to conduct ILS audits and provide ILS audit report on the regular basis. So this is the responsibility of the vendor. So vendor should conduct any kind of audit accepted by the Disney at least once in a year, and that report has to be submitted to the Disney. Either that can be their own brand audit accepted by Disney or some other third party audit accepted by Disney. So the report submitted to Disney will again be converted into an ILS audit, and based on that ILS audit, the Disney checks whether the factory complies with the Disney standards. So they have some uh, categories of findings like they call it as MCS violation, serious violation, and non-MCS violation, which we had already discussed in our previous video, that is in chapter 2. And Disney code are consistent with the core convention of the International Labour Organization. As a licensee or vendor of Disney, you're responsible for ensuring the Disney branded products are produced in compliance with the ILS program. So to check whether the particular facility is complying with the ILS program. It is the responsibility of the vendor to check whether the facility comply with the ILS standard and declare each facility whether it is located before beginning any production of Disney branded products at a facility by submitting Disney a pharma application. So this is the initial stage where it begins with. So if the facility decides to produce a Disney branded product, so then it is the responsibility of the vendor to submit a pharma application to Disney, and then Disney would go through the pharma application along with the audit report, and Disney decides whether to issue a pharma or not to that particular facility. And Disney requirements also includes like before you begin Disney branded production in any facility or subcontracted facility you propose to use, you must obtain a pharma from Disney. So here it is not that once we are submitting a pharma application to Disney, we can start doing Disney business. So it is not like that. So Disney should review the audit report and then should issue the pharma. Only after facility obtaining the pharma from Disney, they are eligible to do the Disney branded products. Before getting the pharma or before receiving the pharma from Disney, it is illegal to produce or use any Disney branded products in a facility. And as a licensee or vendor, you must distribute the Disney code to each of your facility and ensure that your facilities fully understand Disney's expectations and requirements. So here it is the responsibility of the vendor to distribute the Disney code to all the facilities. Like here, we are not going as a vendor. The vendor is not going to use only one facility to produce a Disney branded product. Like say, for example, in a garment manufacturing unit, the Disney branded products will be used. I mean, or it will be produced in different stages. Like it starts from printing, cutting, sewing, checking, ironing, packing, and so on. So it is not that all these processes will be done in only one facility. Sometimes these processes may be done in different facilities. In such cases, all the facility that is working with Disney IP should have the pharma, and also this code of conduct should be distributed to all those facilities by the vendor. Other qualified programs, that is, as we discussed, that apart from the Disney ILS audit program, Disney also accepts few more other qualified audit programs. Some are not some are. These are the list of audit programs that is uh, relevant and acceptable as like ILS program, that is BSCA audit, Better Work program, FLA, then the jewelry, that is Fashion Jewelry and Accessories Trade Association, ICTI Ethical Toy Program, Responsible Business Alliance, then SEDEX, there is Meta, SA 8000, and RAP are the alternative audit programs. Those are accepted by Disney. So, what are the obligations to meet the MCS? So, you will receive a corrective action plan outlining the violation. So, as we discussed about the earlier stages, like after conducting an audit in a particular facility, the report will be sent to the Disney through the vendor, and the audit report will be reviewed by the Disney. After reviewing the audit report, Disney will issue a corrective action plan outlining the violations that are mentioned in the report. So there are different categories of MCS, non-MCS, and serious violation with the Disney standards. And this audit report will be compared with those uh, standards and check whether the particular facility meets the Disney requirement. And based on that, the cap will be released to the facility through the vendor. You will generally be given 120 days to work with the facility to remediate the MCS violations and provide a new qualified ILS audit report. This we have already discussed in chapter 2, but I'll give a small brief explanation what this means. So after conducting the initial audit, and if the facility receives a MCS cap from Disney, then in addition to that, that facility will be given another 120 days time to remedy the MCS violations and also to comply with the new Disney standards. Like there should not be any new MCS violations identified in the follow-up audit. If the previous MCS violation is not remediated, or if any new MCS violation is identified in the follow-up audit, then the facility will lose its format. Facility declaration and authorization. So following Disney's review and approval of FOMA application and any requested ILS audit program, Disney will issue a FOMA. As we already discussed, but Disney accepts different kind of audit programs like ILS audit, SEDEX, SA8000, DRAP, and so on. So based on this audit report, Disney reviews that audit and issues the FOMA. A former is valid for a licensee or vendor that is issued to. So this is very important that has to be considered. Some may think that like once a farmer is issued to a facility, the facility can produce any kind of Disney products. It is not so. So this particular facility is exactly not issued to the facility. The farmer is issued to the vendor, stating that that vendor can use that particular facility to produce a Disney product, which means that that pharma is applicable only for that vendor to produce Disney branded product in the facility. So this facility cannot use this pharma to produce other customers Disney branded products. So if factory need business with other customers for Disney, then that facility should obtain a new farmer from that customer to do the Disney branded products. So there are cases where farmer is not required. So let's see what are the cases. So production producing blank or generic products, components or material that do not contain, incorporate or apply any Disney intellectual property. If the Disney intellectual property is absent in that particular material, then pharma is not required. Then raw material supplier, fabric mills or processors, this we are specifically talking about the garment manufacturing industry. So in garment manufacturing industry, the possibility for the Disney IP is from the printing stage. So before printing, we do have different stages like what we call it as processing, which involves dyeing, washing, and all those things. So here from purchasing the raw material till that processing, the Disney IP is not getting associated anywhere. So the facility can do the Disney brand means or a Disney branded pre-processing in that particular in any facility without pharma. Pharma revocation. As the name indicates, the facility's pharma would be terminated because of some reason, and once the pharma has been revoked, the FLOP, that is facility loss of production authorization notification, is sent to the vendor, and the vendor should communicate this to the facility. And once the notification is received by the facility, immediately from that instance, the Disney branded product should not be produced in that facility. The reason for the former revocations are the facility or the vendor failed to submit the audit report, that is approved audit report like an ILS audit report or any other audit report to the to Disney. So Disney recommends that the vendor should submit at least an audit report once in a year, and the facility has shut down completely or is no longer in operation, and the Disney is unable to conduct an ILS audit. This happens where the facility might have given wrong information like wrong address or wrong contact details. In such case, the auditor would not be able to contact the facility. So there what happens is, again, due to this reason, the former of that facility will be revoked, Then MCS violations identified as a result of ILS audit are not remediated within the required time period. As we already discussed, the time period is 120 days, and within that 120 days, any MCS violation reported in the initial audit should be addressed, and the follow-up audit conducted within that 120 days, the report should be clear without any new MCS violation or existing MCS violation. So, an ILS audit from any source reveals fraud, bribery, or other improper influences. So, additional MCS violations are identified after an initial ILS audit, identifying any new MCS violation. As we discussed, like all existing MCS violation should be addressed during the follow-up audit, as well as no new MCS violation should be reported. And two attempts made, the auditor is denied full or partial access to the facility, is employed for private interview and a risk record. It means for the auditor, that is the ILS auditor or any other auditor, is denied for the whole portion of the audit or the partial access to the facility, like workers in interview or access in the record. In such case also the former gets revoked. So cessation and reinstatement. So once the former is revoked, all actions must be completed in a period not to exceed 30 days from Disney's written notice. So immediately when the formal revocation notification is submitted to the vendor should communicate it to the facility, and the facility should stop all the Disney branded production immediately from that instance, and all products either partially completed or wholly completed, the product should be replaced from there to another approved or authorized site. And to apply for a farmer or to reinstate, it can be done only after 12 months from the date of farmer revocation. And again, this will be decided by Disney whether to issue a farmer to the particular facility or not. So here we come to the end of part one. Hope you all might have enjoyed this. So in the next part, we'll discuss in detail about what are the audit recommendation, what is MCS violation, non-MCS and serious violations, and contents related to it will be discussed further. Thank you.